Hello friends and welcome to Sheridan Smiles. I'm Alyssa and today I'm going to be doing something a little different. So I've been doing these upon first listen album reviews and I've been really enjoying them, but there are some albums that I've missed along the way and some albums that you just kind of need to listen to a few times before you can give them a review. And so I've decided that this year I'm going to try to start doing some album reviews of ones that I have been out a little bit longer, and as you probably guessed from the picture a minute ago, the first one I'm going to be doing is Reputation by Taylor Swift. Now I know this isn't the CD itself, it actually came in this was like something that they had at Target, but this was just kind of so extra. I thought I had to look at it a little bit more, and I'll come back to this and talk about this, but first I want to talk about the music. And so the album, Reputation by Taylor Swift, starts off with the song Ready for It. And honestly, when I first heard it, I wasn't sure I was ready because it's so different. She comes out really hard and it's kind of this hyped up song that I really found myself enjoying. It's her kind of playing around with rap a little bit, which is very different from what she's done in the past, but it was interesting. And I'm all for artists taking risks and trying something different, so I'm not gonna like put her down for it, but it was so different. I wasn't really sure what to make of it, but I do find myself coming back to that song. Song number 2 was Endgame with Future and Ed Sheeran, and Ed Sheeran is my man. I love him. I love his music and what he puts out so much. And I thought that this song was pretty strong. I thought that the three of them together, Taylor Swift, Future, and Ed Sheeran, worked very well together to create this song, and it had an interesting sound that worked for all three musicians who are very different, but it worked. Song number 3 is called I Did Something Bad. And I feel like the song is kind of a good song to validate like anger, like when you're in that mood and you need just kind of this driving kind of song. This song's really good for that. I really liked it. It's not usually the kind of song that I really get behind message-wise, but for some reason with this one it worked for me. Song number 4, Don't Blame Me. It has the same feel as the first 3, but it didn't stick for me as much as the first 3 did. So yeah, that's I guess all I really have to say for that one. Song number 5, Delicate. I think the song is nice. I think it's very nice. It's one that I've heard people kind of pointing out as maybe their favorite. And I think it could be beautiful. I think it is very pretty as it is. But I'm curious to hear maybe a softer instrumentation, a more acoustic version of it. I think she could totally rock that, and I think it would be very beautiful that way. I'm also not really a huge fan of the robotic, tinny, like, vocal effect that kind of happens throughout it in the recording. With the line that my reputation's never been worse, so you must like me for me, is a personal look into her, I think, a little bit. You feel that she does have that connection to this song, and so it did stand out as being a very pretty song that I liked. I just was not a fan of some of the effects that were used. Song number 6, Look What You Made Me Do. We all know this one by now. It was the lead single, and I think it was supposed to be empowering. But for me, honestly, the first time I heard it and everything, it just felt like passing the blame. I was not a big fan of this song. It's kind of the idea of self-realization versus self-absorption between the song itself and the music video. It's look what you made me do. It's not so much, realizing what as being, it's not so much acknowledging and being aware of what people are saying and like realizing who you are amidst that, as much as still kind of passing the blame to someone else for your own actions, and being like, kind of making, like, because the music video was interesting in that it was kind of, you know, saying nothing I ever do is good enough, and, you know, showed all the different aspects of her, which I thought had potential in it, but at the end it still felt very much so like, you know, again, like it was passing it on to someone else, and not, and it was all about like, look at me, as opposed to any kind of internal look herself, which I think is what the song was more so trying to do. And I just think it really kind of missed the mark there. And I found the speaking part to be absolutely cringy. And so, yeah, this one was not a high point for me at all on this album. Song number 7 is So It Goes. And to me, it felt like more genuine Taylor, and I really liked the song. I didn't always like some of the vocal effects on it, but I really did like the song, and yeah, that one I thought was pretty good. Song number 8 was Gorgeous, and it falls into kind of the more current pop category of like the 80s inspired pop that's super popular right now. But the lyrics of this one kind of ruined it for me. The idea that he should be happy because she made fun of him, or that she hates them because they're both taken. I know that it's supposed to come off as kind of flirty and fun, but to me just kind of comes off as stuck up and snobby, and I'm not really a fan of that at all. And yeah, so there's that one. Song number 9 is Getaway Car. This song is kind of fits in the same realm of being the 80s influenced pop sound, but I thought it was done well here, and I actually really enjoyed this song. I thought it was just a really fun one that I would listen to time and time again. And song number 10, King of My Heart. I can't really talk about this one because even though I've listened to this album multiple times now, nothing about this song sticks out to me. Like, I don't even really remember it right now as I'm talking about it. So that one, that just kind of tells you where I'm at with that one. Song number 11 is called Dancing with Our Hands Tied, and I thought that it was a good pop sound, and it didn't really stand out to me too much. It kind of sounded like something that I felt like you would play in like a fashion show. Like you would hear it playing as they're walking. Not that I've been to a lot of fashion shows, but just from like what I've seen, like I feel like it would fit into that. And I did really like the sound of it, and I would definitely listen to it again. But yeah. Then song number 12 is Dress. And this song, definitely you can tell what she's going for is a more sexy feel. And it's got more of like a whispery kind of vocal to it. Song number 13, This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. This song fits into what I've kind of dubbed her like cheerleader songs. They're the songs that you would maybe hear playing at like a pep rally, that there's like people are gonna like shout the chorus along with you. And the two main examples that I would use would be like We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together and Shake It Off. Personally, I've never been a huge fan of those kind of songs. I realize that as singles they do really well for her, but they're not her sound that I personally prefer and enjoy. But what this song does well, that didn't work well in other parts, this is where talking in the song I think actually added to the overall message and what she was trying to get across. And so I was actually a fan of the talking in this song, because talking in a song can either add to it or it can make it super awkward. Whereas I felt like it made things awkward in Look What You Made Me Do. I definitely think it added to the overall feel of this song and made it more fun and playful, and I actually really, that stuck out to me as something that was good from this song. And even though the song's not my favorite, I did like that part in that song. Song number 14 is Call It What You Want, and this song stuck out to me as actually one of my favorites. It's a nice love song about love despite what others think and other issues that might be surrounding it, and just being in love with that person. And it definitely feels very personal and genuine from Taylor, which I love about it, and I think that's why it has stuck with me so much. And I would prefer a more toned down instrumentation with this one as well, but it's still a standout for me even in its original form here. I actually really enjoy it. That's one of the songs that I come back to time and time again. And speaking of standouts and songs I come back to, song number 15, New Year's Day. Upon listen, it's definitely different from everything else that we've heard on the album up until this point. To me, it's reminiscent of artists like Sarah Bareilles and Ingrid Michaelson and more singer-songwriter. And I think it's a beautiful love song and a great way to end the whole album, and it's one of my favorites. Overall, I gave this album a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It definitely had moments that really stuck out to me as being awesome, but it definitely had moments that to me also stuck out as being kind of cringy or not really my thing. I also felt like I enjoy that she took a risk, but there are two sides to this. She took a risk and made such a huge deal about how Reputation was going to be so different from everything else she put out before, but it didn't feel that way to me. And yes, whereas like Ready for It, like the first 4 or 5 songs, I would say would kind of fit into that, but then once you get into the rest of the album, it still feels very much so like what we've come to hear from her and know and love. So I'm not ripping on it at all, but I don't think it was, if she wanted to commit to the change, I wasn't feeling that commitment to it. But also there was the other stuff, but I didn't think that the parts that were her that we have come to really enjoy were quite as strong and true to her as those could have been as well, which is why this is a 3.5. I actually do enjoy Taylor Swift's music, so that's not an issue. I didn't come here to bash her at all. I just feel like of her entire discography, this is not her strongest, but I see what she was kind of trying to do with it, and so I, give her credit where that's due. And like I said, as it got closer to the end of the album, those songs were the ones that were sticking out to me as like what I really loved and would love to see more of from her. Things that just seem very real and genuine to her. Now, back to what I bought from Target. I'm not going to show you a ton from this because copyright issues, but the CD came inside of this magazine, and I wasn't really sure what to expect from the magazine. I was kind of hoping, since the front of it is kind of poking fun at all of the different things, that maybe it would be more of like a satirical thing inside of here, or on the flip side of that, more of if she wanted to present more of like her genuine self. What you end up getting in here is there are the words to some of the songs. There's like lyrics in here, not to all of them, but to some of them, and that are handwritten, and then there's a lot of pictures. So if you're a huge Taylor Swift fan, I think that, yeah, this would be worth it. There's like a poem in here that's like exclusive to that, but there's not, and I think I got a bookmark, and there's like a poster in there, but besides that, it's really just a lot of pictures of her. So if you're someone who's a huge fan and would love that, then absolutely go for it. If not, just stick to the regular album and you'll be fine. But as always, thank you all so much for watching. Did you like this album? Have you heard it? If so, even if not, let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, feel free to let me know with a thumbs up, and if you're curious about future videos that I'll be putting out, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I love you all, and don't forget to share them smiles. Ciao for now, friends.